tonight. Thunder and steam. Rain down tonight. Thunder and steam.
Is adult entertainment and OFANs keeping you single? Today, we're going to explore some solutions. Now, don't get me wrong, we're not making judgments on the industry and personal freedoms, but I think there's a lot of evidence to support the hypothesis that excessive adult entertainment use is holding us back as men. Brennan is dedicated to helping men reclaim their lives from the grip of compulsive prawn use through powerful subconscious reprogramming techniques. His approach goes beyond willpower. He helps folks rebuild focus, confidence, and real intimacy. A hypnotist and a budding expert in self-hypnosis. You can find him, and I'll put this website in the description, at empowerhypnosis.app.
Yes, sir.
This conversation is especially for single dads out there who might be struggling with addictions and screen time, seeking a way to break free and reconnect with their true selves and loved ones. Thank you for being here today, Brendan.
Oh, thank you, Amos. Really appreciate it. The opportunity to have a conversation about this topic. It's so crucial at this point in time, especially, you know?
Yeah,
we're ensconced.
Yeah, it's not something you want to really. It's not something you want to talk about, but I feel like it's something we have to talk about. And if somebody in my position and in your position where you're actually helping people with it, like if we don't offer solutions and offer maybe some food for thought for some guys, it's an important conversation to have. So that's why I was excited to have you on today to give us a rundown of your vision.
For sure.
So Brendan, tell us a bit about yourself and what got you into hypnosis.
Well, my name is Brendan. I live in Southern California, and I've been using hypnosis with folks for about 6 years now, a little longer perhaps. Helping them create meaningful changes to their experience. And one of the first ways that I started using hypnosis was actually to reset this goal for myself, reset my relationship with adult content, because I for sure have gone through the dark night of the soul on that one. You know, it's been a journey. And I think a lot of people in our generation and millennial and whatnot, we've been exposed to the internet our entire life, and we're just in this place where it's been normalized to such a degree, which it's absolutely astronomical. And so helping men realize the benefits that they can have in their own life to change for the better in exactly how they imagine, that's what I'm really passionate about. And that's what I see as my place that I can assist others, because you know what? It's not easy. And if we have a technique, if we have some tools that we can actually utilize to create changes to these patterns that do not serve us, that are no longer serving us. They may have served us in the past, getting that quick fix, that quick little dopamine rush, but it's not serving us in the long run. And that's what I'm here to help people with is, I know firsthand how dark, not that I went down all those roads, and some of them I didn't touch, but for sure it can be dark out there.
Right. So can you just explain to the viewers who may not be totally hip to what hypnosis is? I'm sure everybody's seen the guy on stage doing hypnosis, but what are kind of the basics of hypnosis and how does it work?
Completely. Thank you for that question. And so hypnosis is the bypassing of the conscious faculty of the mind, where you're able to speak directly to the subconscious. And so you can reprogram your subconscious, because your subconscious is the part of you that really has so much control over your actions that you're not even thinking about, right? Why, when you see a puppy, you're like, oh, it's a cute puppy, versus if you see a snake, you're like, it's a snake. You want to hold the puppy, you don't want to hold the snake, and that's determined by every experience you've ever had in your entire life. Maybe you've had positive experiences with snakes, but generally there's, a certain hesitation there for a lot of folks. And so hypnosis is being able to reach into your subconscious and change how it's programmed. And so you can alter those patterns that are no longer serving you so you can actually become exactly who you wish to become. But don't get me wrong, when you see hypnosis in movies and TV, they're not having an honest representation of the art and what it is, because hypnosis requires your participation in order to be effective. If you do not want to be hypnotized, you cannot be hypnotized. And another thing about hypnosis, right? I always talk about the three big rumors. You have the first rumor, which is the getting stuck myth. The idea that you can be walking around for weeks at a time in a hypnotic state without even recognizing it, which is not true. That's the Office Space myth, right? Just like sleep, though, you will always wake up out of hypnosis. Nothing is holding you into it. You're naturally when your body is ready. Second myth is the brainwashing myth, the idea that your morals are going to be changed under hypnosis, which is not true. Your morals do not change. What's right is still right. What's wrong is still wrong. And if I, as a hypnotist, was to give you a suggestion for something that you know to be morally wrong, you would ignore it or wake up out of hypnosis completely. And then the third myth is the forgetfulness myth, the idea that you won't actually remember what happens to you in a state of hypnosis, which is not true. You're completely conscious through the entire procedure, and you'll remember it as well as you remember any other conversation. So all those myths about how hypnosis functions, they're not real. It's all for TV. Now, there is a caveat to that, though. When you see something like stage hypnosis, right? When you see people acting silly on stage, or the hypnotist is asking them to act like a chicken or whatever, the people who are doing that are only doing that because they're the kind of people who want to do that. Right. Yeah. If you did not want to have that experience, then you would not. That is your choice, 100%. And that's not to take away from the fact that they are actually having these experiences on stage, but there is, personal choice always is the ruling factor. And I wouldn't do that kind of hypnosis anyways. I find it morally wrong for me and my goals. Like, I'm very much focused on helping people create that meaningful change to their experience and using hypnosis as a tool for personal growth and change. That was long-winded.
No, that was great. And yeah, just to reiterate, you do help folks with all facets of self-improvement, not
Completely.
just male addiction issues, but that's one thing that you are passionate about because of your own journey. So yeah, I just wanted to make that clear.
And that's one of the things is how you have credibility in something in a given thing is like if you have experience with that given thing, and I'm of the generation, and I have no shame, no guilt, though. I'm free from those forms, so it's good. It's been a path.
That's great. Yeah. How can hypnosis help men break free? If they feel it's negatively affecting them, maybe what would, I guess, admitting you might have a problem and then talking to somebody like you or myself would be, I guess, the first step. But maybe what will we do after that step?
And to be clear, though, when I'm talking with my clients, I do not need to know your history. You do not have to unleash everything. I'm not a therapist, not a psychologist. I'm not. If you feel comfortable enough to share, I full confidence, of course, right. But it's not required. That's not a requirement for creating that change to your subconscious programming. What is a requirement, though, is that you actually do want to have that change take place. Sometimes people say they're ready, or someone will suggest they go to them see a hypnotist, and it's not their idea, right? If it's someone else's idea, it's not going to be as effective.
No.
Or it has to be your idea, your will, your decision. The other part of that question was how the actual process itself. And so hypnosis is a process of talking to your subconscious mind, bypassing the conscious faculties. And so when you do that, there's techniques that we can use. And so the technique that I use very specifically is one that's client driven. So we start with we make as realistic as possible in your mind a vision of what it would look like for you to be free from
Mm,
porn or adult content, whatever word feels most comfortable, depends on the client, right? And
yeah.
then we make that vision. We pull as many details as we can into it, and we just go through different benefits of quitting porn. You know, I have a list here that I work with. We kind of go through in order to build these visions, and so clearer thinking, better focus, more consistent motivation. Let me move this over here. More consistent motivation, stronger ability to follow through, reduced social anxiety. And so, can you imagine what that would look like for you? What it
Mm,
would actually look like for you to have reduced social anxiety? Imagine it as clearly as you can. You being able to go up to someone, and introduce yourself, and talk to them without any difficulty, without any hesitation, or maybe a more self-respect. Right, the idea where you can just see yourself going in your mind's eye and having more respect for yourself and asking for more respect from others in turn. Emotional stability, not being high and low on every little turn of the die, right? Every little thing can just set people off. And when you're quitting these forms and you're making that decision to be free, it offers you so much greater stability in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit too. It gives you really greater more trust, better intimacy, restored dopamine sensitivity. That's another thing. Is like that's what you're doing, is like you're setting off these dopamine loops in your brain over and over again, dulling your senses. And so
yeah.
with processes like this, then when you imagine what it's like to be in a state of actually having dopamine, and how good it would feel, you can imagine all the positive feelings coming into your body and actually allowing you to feel just so clear-headed, so bright, and so positive. So that's what we do. First, we start with that vision of the benefits, and then we distill that vision down to a single sentence. Usually when I'm working with porn clients, we go with "I'm free from porn" is the suggestion, and you want it worded positively in the present tense and with emotionally meaningful language. And so it's always I'm free from. It's not that you're quitting. You're not a quitter. It's
Yeah.
not something that you know you have to. It's not a quitting stance. It's being free. You're freeing yourself. You're creating more freedom in your life. And that's what porn does, is it keeps people enslaved. And then after we have that suggestion, we use it exclusively with all those thoughts tied into it over and over to build the pathways for your experience, so that you can actually step into that vision of yourself after going through that hypnosis process with me. And so it's been great. I've been helping a lot of folks, not just with porn. I helped
Mhm.
one lady recently get off of cocaine, which was a big win. So she was addicted for many years, and I followed up months later. She's still keeping it clean. She's doing great. She has her own place now. Helping other folks with pain management, focus, confidence,
Mhm.
whatever their own personal vision of success is. And it's been a wild ride to see the changes happening for others and for myself too.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Um, so as someone that maybe doesn't think they have a lot of willpower, um, is there anything you can say to that? Is there with the self-directed sort of mantras that you guys decide on when you're doing a
Yeah.
session? Um, yeah, I guess do you have anything to say to that? Because I don't consider myself to have strong willpower in some things, especially like time management and focus and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. Maybe if you can just speak to willpower.
Completely understand what you mean there.
Okay, good.
And yeah, no, willpower it's not the crucial element of having success in this, because you can change those patterns with having that experience of making the decision, because it's always a decision. There's always you making a decision, and to frame it in the terms of like, oh, I wasn't strong enough, it's not that at all. It's like, no, you have these pathways that you're just habituated towards. And so by using a process like a hypnosis process in order to create that change, to build those new neural pathways, it's really freeing in so many ways. And it doesn't require willpower. It just requires that you actually go through the process and you repeat the thoughts. And if you stick with it and you're being true to yourself, you're being honest about your experience, then you can really manifest exactly what you wish in your life, no matter what it is, in the best way.
Right. Right. So many single dads struggle with managing their time and distractions, including screen addiction, social media. So is there anything else you can tell me about self-hypnosis to restore focus and control in daily life?
For sure. Self-hypnosis is a wonderful use of this tool of hypnosis. And that was my first experience in it too. And there's a lot of strategies out there. I used to use a strategy of self-hypnosis where you have yourself a script printed out and you're reading it out loud, the script, and you're hypnotizing yourself by reading the script. And so there's so many different strategies. I've developed other strategies as well. I give away my strategies in a free ebook, just a little short one. I'm happy to discuss them further with anyone who's interested. But my strategy definitely follows alongside the method that I've kind of elucidated on here today. And there's a specific number of repetitions that I like to use with my clients, and that is 108. And 108, it's a meaningful in a lot of cultures. And when I'm working with clients, I like to use a deck of cards, including the 2 jokers, and we go through the deck of cards twice. And so that's for 108 repetitions, right? Instead of some Eastern bead magic or whatnot. It's more so grounded in Western physicality. But it's been really a powerful tool to use self-hypnosis in order to create those changes. And I know that it works. A lot of people have had success with it that I've been working with and talking with and showing people how to use these self-hypnosis techniques in their own time, in their own ways that suits them best. And it doesn't require my input. That's the truth of it. Like, you don't need a hypnotist. You can hypnotize yourself. Like,
Right.
But you just have to go through the process and trust in it. And actually, well, you don't even need to. I guess trusting in it is different than believing in it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it doesn't require belief. Hypnosis does not require you to believe that it's going to work. I've worked with a lot of folks before who are completely skeptical. They've gone into the entire engagement being like, "Oh yeah, hypnotize me then." And it's like, okay, and then we do it, and then they're like, "Holy crap, that was amazing! What was that?" I was like, that was hypnosis, man. I'm really glad that you had a good positive experience today. It's been it's helping a lot of folks, so it's very cool.
Cool. Yeah, I think I've had a few sessions with you, and I will definitely have more in the future. So
would love to.
I think the self-hypnosis for me is like, do I trust, like you said, do I trust myself to get myself to that same point? So I think that's why it's important for me for you to guide that session, just to keep me accountable, I think.
Yes.
So yeah.
I do want to say a note on that, though. There are many levels of hypnosis. All of them are effective for different reasons and in different ways. And so you do not necessarily have to be at that same depth of hypnosis. You can be in a very light state where you're just reading this mantra to yourself and imagining it each over and over. And that's super powerful. That's so amazingly powerful to create that change. You don't have to be completely zonked out, like,
Yeah.
it's okay. You can it doesn't affect the success. As long as you're doing it, as long as you're using the processes.
Right. Great. Okay. So, what are some mental and physical changes that men could expect when they start to overcome corn use through some hypnosis methods?
Yes, great question. And focusing on the benefits is always the most clear strategy in my mind, at least,
Hmm.
because there's so many benefits that you'll experience physically, mentally, spiritually, you know, that are really meaningful for so many folks. And clarity of mind, confidence, increased focus, your vision actually even becoming sharper. That's one of the things, right? The old wives' tale. There's always truth to those old wives' tale.
Yeah.
You'll make yourself blind, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what? Like, I'm not going to say that. That isn't a foreign thought to me because I've had that experience and I know what it's like. So there's so many benefits. So going back to this list, better intimacy, stronger discipline, more self-respect. That's a huge one. Increased confidence, less guilt and shame. There's
Yeah.
so many benefits that you can really hone in on. And I like to recommend folks to go to some place like Reddit, like a subreddit like Porn Free, and read the stories there of men who've actually used different strategies, not my techniques, but
Mhm.
they've still made that decision to be free of these habits, and they've created that change. And you know what? Like, you don't have to go by my strategies. Nobody has to trust me. Like, anything that works for you, you go for it. I that's the most important thing, is that
Yeah.
you're being clear-headed and honest with yourself.
Cool. Right on. Yeah. And all those things you just mentioned are going to be helpful in your relationships too, whether you're with your partner or you're co-parenting or you're single parents. Like, having a clearer mind and clear
Yeah,
focus that's going to help you be a better communicator too. Um,
completely.
because sort of the washed over dopamine effects, right? Like, it just kind of
Yeah,
makes you a bit of a zombie.
so true.
Um,
And every relationship will benefit, not just your
yeah,
romantic
not
ones,
just
every
romantic.
relationship with your children, with
Mhm.
your parents, with, with your partner, with your boss. Like,
Yeah,
it gets better.
yeah. So we already talked about sort of the the introduction, but what's my question? Could you walk us through a typical self hypnosis practice session for someone who is just starting out on this journey? Yeah. So maybe if you just wanted to speak a little bit of what somebody would expect if they were to have a session with you.
Okay, for sure. When I'm having a session with my clients, we always first start off with the same way. And I really like this practice. It's called the fourfold breath or box breathing. You've probably done
Mm,
it before, even.
yeah.
And it's just, you inhale slowly over the count of 4, hold that inhale for the count of 4, exhale slowly over the count of 4, and then hold that exhale for the count of 4. We'll do that 3 times. And so that's how I start with all my clients. And that just resets their body and their mind to allow their themselves to relax much more deeply, to go into a much deeper state of hypnosis. And then from there, we use a technique. It's called fractionation induction. It's just blinking, it's just closing your eyes and then opening your eyes, and then imagining. Actually, closing your eyes, opening your eyes, and closing your eyes. And so, when your eyes are closed, though, imagining a wave of relaxation
Mm,
starting from the top of your head, moving down your body, traveling out your toes. So we'll do a blink for 3 times. And then from there, we'll just do a progressive relaxation, just choosing to relax each part of our body in turns, starting with our eyelids, forehead, allowing all the muscles to go out fully in each part of our body as we move down slowly. And then once your entire body is relaxed, then we just use your imagination, and we just imagine walking down some stairs that are safe, well lit, they're wide, they're clean, that you know well. And so we just imagine walking downstairs in your mind's eye, with each step putting you deeper into a state of hypnotic relaxation. And then at the bottom, we go through a door, enter in, and then we use the suggestion over and over to build those forms in the best way possible. Imagining it each time we use that suggestion, what it feels like, what it looks like, the benefits, the changes, the confidence, feeling good, feeling so clear-headed, and respecting yourself to a much greater degree too.
Right on. So you did speak about the common misconceptions, but are there any common fears that you might get from clients, either maybe before or after a session? Is there anything that comes up?
As far as before goes, definitely a lot of people, and that is the responsibility of the hypnotist, especially, is to build rapport, is to have that relationship where everyone's feeling comfortable and everyone's on the same page. It doesn't feel like it's being done to you, because it's not. It's being done with you. You're a partner in this process, and we're working to help you achieve your goals exactly as you imagine them. And then after the hypnosis, I've never had anyone tell me that it was not good for them.
Good.
I mean, I did have one abreaction, but it was very simple. This woman, though, when we were going into the hypnotic state using our imagination, she just started having a negative reaction. And so I gave her a simple instruction. The scene fades and you tend to your breathing. And then we slowly brought her back out without any problems or difficulties. So she didn't have any sort of, negative manifestation physically or mentally. It was just, she was just uncomfortable with that situation. We talked a little bit, kind of clarified what was happening, and then we tried it again later, and she was able to go in without any difficulties. And so it's a trust issue. It's like, if you're actually able to go with this through this process, and it's not a normal thing, 99.5% of people are going to be 100% fine, but it's sometimes, though, if someone does have a negative reaction, it's just knowing how to handle that, and knowing, okay, well, the scene fades and you tend to your breathing. That's like the method that I've been trained with. The scene fades and you tend to your breathing.
Cool. For dads listening who might feel isolated or ashamed because of their struggles with addiction to porn, what encouraging message or first step would you want to offer them?
First step, encouraging message. Okay. I think that the encouraging message is that it does get better. Like, there is light at the other end of this, and this does not make you any less of a human because you're struggling with this. You're not less than anyone else. This is something that so many men in so many places have gone through. And you know what? There's a lot more and more men every day that are actually coming out the other end and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and seeing the changes that they are manifesting in their life. And there's men talking on, I once again, I recommend going to the subreddit Porn Free, to see some of the stories of these men who are free from these forms, and there is support out there. You don't have to do this 100% alone. You don't have to white knuckle it. You don't have to make it like it's some terrible. I mean, you live your life. like if that's how you want to imagine it, that's fine. But it doesn't have to be a dragon, right? It can be just something that you're working through, and something that you're getting better at each day. Because you know what? Each day you do have that decision, and you can decide. And it's never the same path that you're following. If you're following it with consciousness and you're realizing what you're doing, you're being aware. And if you have awareness of a habit, and you're aware of a pattern that's playing out, you're not in the same pattern. It's different now. Just your knowledge of this pattern alone, it helps and lets you know that you are actually in that path of change. You are actually making that change to yourself. So that's the first step, I guess, is just self-awareness.
Yep. Yep. Right on. That's all the questions I had for you. Is there anything else
Wonderful.
you wanted to discuss? I had some statistics from adult sites and
Yeah.
OnlyFans. I don't know. Maybe that's a conversation for another time. But yeah, some of the statistics on OnlyFans are kind of discouraging to me as a dad. Um, just like, okay, you might think it's not affecting your relationship negatively, but you're spending a lot of time with somebody else on the internet,
Yeah.
and you are giving part of your resources to that person as well. And I mean, same thing, free will, you do you, but at the end of the day, like, that's got to be hard on relationships. And it's, it's sad that young women are so easily able to, if they want to choose that profession, that side hustle, I don't know what you would
Yeah.
call it. There's so much money to be made for them if they actually hustle and grind, for for lack of better
If they're doing
descriptors.
things that others won't, I mean, you have to have a certain novelty now. Because
Right.
I heard that the average OnlyFans creator makes very, very, very little.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the average only may make a couple $100 a week, whereas the top percentage might make $100,000 a month. So, and it's probably very skewed. It's probably, you know, 90% of the total revenue probably goes to that 1 or 2% top producer.
yeah,
So then there's these other people that are, just putting themselves out there for not very much, right? So yeah, it's like, as a dad, it makes me kind of upset, because it seems like such a waste of it seems like a waste, but I can understand why they do it for the money. I can understand that. So I
it's
don't,
it's hard out there. It's really hard.
yeah. And that's why I wanted to have this chat with you. It's like, yeah, okay, they're talking about adult entertainment addiction, but it's almost like I feel compelled to just have an open discussion about it, right? Because hopefully somebody hears this and is like, oh, those guys are, talking honestly about it. Like, maybe I can talk to somebody honestly about it as well.
Yes.
Maybe I can choose to maybe do less, because yeah, maybe it's affecting my sleep, maybe it's affecting my job, spending time with my kids, all that stuff. So that's why I wanted to have this chat today, is to hopefully it
Thank
would
you.
resonate with someone. Yeah.
For sure. No shame, no guilt. We're moving beyond this.
Yeah. 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 And yeah, the first step is just being present with it, really. And is this affecting me negatively? Or, I could obviously do better things with my time and resources. So I think that's where I'm coming from with it.
Completely, yeah. And there's so many ways that you can look at this, and you know what? I think if you're being honest with yourself, they all end up in the same place. It's not serving you. It's not for your best. It's not. They don't have your best interest in mind.
Yeah. So social media as a whole, really, like, are you consuming or are you creating? And we as creators, it's kind of a necessary tool to put our word out there and put our ideas out there. But it's a balance always of
Complete.
trying to be
I
creative.
saw a meme the other day that reminded me exactly what you just said. And the meme was, get your dopamine from what you create, not from what you consume.
That's awesome. That's a good meme.
Okay. Hey, recreate it if you're watching.
Yeah. Well, right on, Brendan. So yeah, I'll put the links in the
Thank you.
description.
Yes, sir.
Hypnosis.app.
Empowerhypnosis.app, empowerhypnosis.app, empowerhypnosis.app. 3 times.
3 times. Right on. Yeah, so thanks for coming on. And
man.
if there's, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up, but I thought this was a good little chat, a good little intro. Maybe some other issues might stem off of this, for a chat for another time. And
always happy to come back and talk more.
Yeah, that's what this podcast is all about, is just sort of talking about men's health issues and just trying to get vulnerable and honest and just having conversations and coming away still loving each other as brothers, and even if we disagree about stuff, right? Because that's what it's all about.
Thank you for holding space, Amos.
Right on. Okay, thanks, Brandon.
All right. Deuces.
Ooh.
Rain down tonight. Thunder and steam.